Isaac, were you looking for me to explain that doctrine and that? Oh, sure, absolutely. So, so a little bit of personal testimony that I had shared in the small group later on, and that is I had an encounter. When I first came to Southern California in 1990, I had an encounter with a group called the Church of Christ Boston Movement. It was a splinter off the mainline Church of Christ, and it was a highly controlling group targeting young people, college students especially. But there's a friend of mine that I'd grown up with and trusted was in this organization I'd never heard of before, but because I trusted him, all right, I'll check it out. And they believe that you have to be baptized in their church in order to be saved. I think they've since relaxed that a little bit, but they were also highly controlling. Everyone has an assigned discipler. And if you wanted to date somebody in the group, then your discipler talks to their discipler, and yeah.
Send the disciplers.
And, they know.
These are good ideas. He's on with that.
Yeah. Like, okay, this could be. Yeah.
Sorry.
But they also knew how much you were giving, and if you were not, if your giving wasn't stopped off, hey, brother, is a problem that we can help you out with? So all of this went hand in hand as a method of control. So the hair on the back of my neck was standing up. I thought I had all the answers. There's something wrong about this, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And thankfully, a good friend of mine who was our adult Sunday school class teacher back in Pensacola, Florida, where I had just come from flight school, he was also a helicopter pilot out for training. He went along with me to one of their sessions, and afterward we sat down and he said, okay, here's the problem. Bing, 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 bing. And I was like, I cannot believe I did not see this. It was right in front of me, and I couldn't figure out how it was wrong. And that really was what launched me in an interest in apologetics, because it was the greatest challenge to my faith I had experienced in my life to that point. And I felt it was important to not only know what I believe, but know why I believe, to be able to defend my beliefs against challenges like that. And so baptism was one of the areas that I dove into to be able to explain why it is that baptism is not necessary for salvation. And one of the things is getting pretty technical about the Greek. This is where, again, there's no substitute for rolling up your sleeves. Sometimes you have to dive this far into the weeds to get the answers. So the Greek word for work is ergon, and we get our word ergonomics from it. But also in physics, and this is really geeking out, there is a unit of energy called an erg. It's like a joule or a calorie. And so the definition is, accelerating a mass a certain amount over a certain distance. It's basically the energy it takes to move something. And so from that Greek word, a work is basically something that if you can see something happening from the outside, it is a work. So, as opposed to faith, Ephesians 2:8-9 says we're saved by grace through faith, not of works. So what's the dividing line? How can you differentiate between the two? So faith, try not to go down too far, yeah. When I was in grad school, we read a book by a behaviorist named Bob Mager, who had this thing called the Hey Dad rule. And that is to write, the context was writing a good instructional objective. And that is, you should be able to fill in the blank, hey dad, watch me, da 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 da. If you want to teach someone how to skateboard, hey dad, watch me, do the skateboard maneuver. Or even if it's something cognitive, well, you can't say, hey dad, watch me understand this. So that is not a good instructional objective. Hey dad, watch me list, da da da. Watch me describe, watch me explain. So those become good instructional objectives. To explain this, describe this. But if you can fill in the blank and say, hey dad, watch me, da da da, it's something that you can see from the outside. It fits the definition of a work, according to the Greek word ergon. You cannot say, hey dad, watch me have faith. That is purely internal. But you can say, hey dad, watch me get baptized. So baptism, the act of baptism, fits the definition of a work as defined in Ephesians 2, 8, and 9. Therefore, we know that baptism does not save you. So that's kind of the long way around, but that's, when you're talking to someone who is insistent that baptism saves you, you can dive into the weeds and say, no, this is what Paul was telling the church at Ephesus. This is what he meant to convey, that we're saved by grace through faith, not of works. Right. So baptism fits the category of a work. Therefore, we know baptism does not save you.
Amen. Well done.
No, we went through it with the, that's fascinating that it actually, you could come to that conclusion by looking at the word works and found that whole thing. It gives more illustration of how the Bible, once again, backs up its own self. Because, and I can't find it right now, but Paul just went ahead and said that, baptism, we're not saved. It's a outward showing of what's going on the inside. And I don't know what scriptures that is. My phone isn't grabbing it, but right now. So there's several ways of looking at it. I've never looked at it the way that you went. It's like you went. But you know what? It's
anyone else do that? Anybody else? Raise your hand.
But I mean, this was motivated from a challenge that I received 35 years ago. And it's that kind of thing.
Is that why you perked up so aggressive in that life group? Because you.
Yes, it was.
Oh, I've been down this street. I've been down this street.
I've heard this speech before, and I'm not having it.